The Revolution. Before the 1979 revolution, Iran and Israel were not enemies. They quietly worked together by trading oil, sharing military technology, and exchanging intelligence. Under the Shah's rule, Iran helped Israel behind the scenes, but stayed silent in public to avoid angering nearby Arab countries. In private, though, the two acted like secret friends who didn't want anyone to find out. Then came the revolution, and everything turned upside down. Ayatollah Khomeini overthrew the Shah and replaced his rule with a government driven by religious ideology. At the heart of this new regime was a belief that Israel had no right to exist. Khomeini didn't just oppose Israel. He demanded its destruction and severed all diplomatic relations. In place of former alliances, Iran began supporting groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Islamic Jihad in Gaza. Many of these groups didn't stop at speeches. They moved straight to launching rockets and carrying out attacks. For Israel, the shift was dramatic. A former trading partner had become a lasting enemy. Iran was no longer seen as just another rival. It was viewed as a global threat, not because of territory or weapons alone, but because its government was built around eliminating Israel. This was no longer a simple political disagreement or border issue. It became an ideological battle. Iran portrayed Israel as a puppet of the West, while Israel saw Iran as an emerging power determined to surround it with militant proxies. The revolution of 1979 didn't just change who ruled Iran. It unleashed a wave of tension that began a Cold War between the two nations, one that has never truly ended. The cyber battlefield. While everyone watches the missiles, another war is happening online. By 2025, the cyber fight between Iran and Israel was no secret anymore. Power plants, hospitals, and trains were all targets. You don't need soldiers when you can shut down a city with a computer. Iran's hackers attacked Israel's water systems and hospital networks. In one case, they almost changed the chemicals in a water plant, just to show they could. Israel hit back harder, crashing Iranian banks, air traffic systems, and even taking over state TV to show anti-government messages. Tehran's metro signs were hacked to say "Death to the dictators." These cyber attacks don't kill people, but they create fear and chaos. They make people lose trust in their government. Since it's hard to know who's behind them, they can keep happening without starting a full war. In today's world, the battlefield isn't just on land or in the air. It's online. Iran's proxy web. Iran rarely fights Israel directly. Instead, it funds, arms, and trains proxy groups across the Middle East to act on its behalf. Hezbollah in Lebanon is the most powerful, heavily supported by Iran. It has fired thousands of rockets into Israel and turned southern Lebanon into an Iranian stronghold. In Yemen, the Houthis have grown from a local militia into a key ally, attacking Saudi oil sites, Red Sea ships, and now Israel, as part of Iran's regional strategy. Across Iraq and Syria, smaller Iran-backed militias target U.S. and Israeli forces through covert operations and secret funding. This proxy network lets Iran project power while denying direct involvement. When rockets fly, it can claim, "It wasn't us." Why Israel hit first and why now? By 2025, Israel's patience had run out. Iran was testing longer-range missiles, stockpiling enriched uranium, and issuing constant threats. Though Tehran claimed its nuclear program was peaceful, Israel wasn't willing to risk it. On June 13th, it struck first. Operation Rising Lion was a swift, calculated assault. Israeli jets penetrated Iranian airspace and hit key targets in Tehran, Isfahan, and Hamadan, striking nuclear and military sites including Nutan, Arak, and Parchin. Simultaneously, Mossad operatives inside Iran launched coordinated assassinations, drone strikes, and sabotage missions, killing senior officers and scientists. Iran's air defenses collapsed quickly, leaving Israeli aircraft largely unchallenged. The operation aimed not just to halt Iran's nuclear ambitions, but to cripple its military infrastructure and send a clear warning: Israel can strike anywhere. Whether this bold, preemptive move secures lasting safety or sparks a wider conflict remains to be seen. The war that actually began, Iran struck back fast. Less than 2 days after Israel's Rising Lion attack, it launched a massive counterstrike that rocked the Middle East. Missiles, drones, and suicide UAVs were fired from Iran, Iraq, Yemen, and Syria, hitting military bases in cities like Tel Aviv and Haifa. Israel's Iron Dome intercepted many attacks but was overwhelmed. Dozens were killed, hundreds injured, and panic spread across the country. Israel went into full war mode. Bomb shelters opened, reserves were called up, and flights were stopped. Iran's allies joined in. Hezbollah fired thousands of rockets from Lebanon, Houthis sent long-range drones from Yemen, and Iraqi militias attacked U.S. bases to drag America into the fight. The conflict quickly became a regional war, just short of nuclear escalation. Civilians were dying, economies were crashing, and oil prices soared. The UN held emergency talks as the world watched, fearing what would come next. Why Israel wants regime change. You won't hear regime change in speeches, but you can see it in missile trails and broken servers. Over the years, Iranian scientists have been assassinated, convoys have exploded, and research sites have gone dark, all sending a clear message. Israel isn't just targeting weapons, it's targeting the entire system behind them. The scientists, factories, and leadership. From Israel's view, peace is impossible while Iran's regime remains in power. Security isn't a policy, it's survival. Instead of a full invasion, Israel wages a shadow war, assassinations, cyber attacks like Stuxnet, diplomatic pressure, and now, in 2025, direct strikes on Iran's military and government sites. Some reports even suggest quiet support for Iranian dissidents. It's a slow, deliberate campaign to weaken Tehran's grip. Israel may never say it out loud, but the goal is clear. Less uranium, fewer Ayatollahs. Why Iran wants regime change. Officially, Iran claims it's fighting Zionism, not Israelis. But if you look closer, nearly every speech, missile, and military drill is aimed at bringing down the Israeli government, not just opposing it. Tehran doesn't say regime change, but its actions make that goal obvious. By funding groups like Hezbollah and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Iran is fighting a slow, grinding war meant to wear Israel out from all sides. It wants Israel surrounded, under pressure, and constantly on edge, believing that the weaker and more unstable Israel looks, the easier it will be to challenge its legitimacy, especially in the Arab world. Tehran's strategy isn't about one big victory. It's about steady, long-term pressure, through cyber attacks, propaganda, diplomacy, and proxy wars, to exhaust Israel over time. The goal isn't to destroy Israel in one strike, but to weaken it gradually until it falls apart from within. So far, though, that plan remains just a dream. For all its challenges, Israel isn't showing any signs of giving in. Why Hezbollah sat this one out. Hezbollah is usually Iran's loudest ally, quick to fire rockets from Lebanon whenever tensions rise. But in 2025, they stayed unusually quiet. The reason was timing and survival. After months of smaller clashes, Hezbollah had lost top commanders, dozens of fighters, and much of its ammunition. Israeli drones were constantly in the sky, making any move risky. Then there's Lebanon's situation. The country's economy is collapsing, the government is weak, and people are tired of war. Most Lebanese don't want their homes destroyed over Iran's battles. Even Hezbollah's leaders know that a major war could break the country completely. So this time, they held back. Just a few rockets for show, nothing more. Hezbollah still supports Iran, but in 2025, loyalty had limits. Pushing harder could mean losing everything. Iran's nuclear threats. Iran has long pushed its nuclear program to the edge, enough to alarm the world, but not enough to start a war. But if it ever conducts a nuclear test, even a small underground one, everything would change. Such a test would prove that Iran is a nuclear power, not just a potential one. That could spark regional panic. For Israel, whose policy is to prevent any enemy from going nuclear, this would cross a clear red line. Retaliation would be almost certain. Arab states quietly working with Israel might back away, fearing wider conflict. The U.S. would face intense pressure, some calling for war, others urging caution. Meanwhile, Iran's allies would celebrate the test as a major victory and a warning to the West. Even without using a bomb, simply proving it exists would shift the balance of power in the Middle East. For Iran, it's leverage. For Israel, it's a nightmare, spreading chaos far beyond the battlefield. Iran's proxy wars and oil sabotage. Iran doesn't always fight directly. When the pressure rises, it switches tactics, hitting where it hurts most. While Israel watched the skies, Iran targeted the seas, pipelines, and the global economy. Its first move was in the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow route that carries a third of the world's oil. Iran threatened to block it, planted sea mines, and sent out speedboats. Several oil tankers were attacked or sabotaged, sending energy prices soaring and triggering global panic. Next came the Red Sea, where Iran-backed Houthi rebels fired missiles and drones at ships. One drone even struck a cargo vessel moving goods between Europe and Asia. The message was simple. If Iran can't hit Israel directly, it will disrupt global trade instead. At the same time, Iran activated proxy groups in Iraq and Syria to stretch Israel's defenses and pressure the U.S. into reacting. Behind the scenes, cyber attacks hit oil companies, ports, and airline satellites, spreading chaos far beyond the battlefield. The awkward role of the U.S. and Trump's tightrope act. America didn't start the war, but quickly found itself entangled. Long a key ally of Israel and a critic of Iran, the U.S. had spent decades providing aid, intelligence, and defense support. By 2025, Donald Trump was back in office with Marco Rubio as vice president, aiming to project strength without starting another Middle Eastern war. That changed when Iran struck U.S. bases in Iraq, killing soldiers and damaging airfields. The U.S. responded by deploying carriers, boosting defenses, and covertly aiding Israel through intelligence and limited strikes on Iran-backed militias, careful not to declare full-scale war. In Washington, Democrats called for restraint while Republicans pushed for retaliation. Trump balanced public threats with boasts about his approval ratings, warning Iran not to test America. Caught between action and restraint, the U.S. faces a fragile balance. Support Israel too openly and risk escalation, stay cautious and appear weak. The Gaza factor. Iran isn't sending soldiers to Gaza. It's sending money, weapons, and ideology. That's enough to keep the region unstable. For years, Tehran has funded and trained groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad, not to make peace, but to keep pressure on Israel. By 2025, this strategy intensified. Rocket attacks from Gaza into southern Israel often followed Iran's timing, not local events. After any major Israeli strike on Iran, like against a nuclear site, missiles from Gaza quickly followed. It was Iran's way of using Gaza as a southern distraction, forcing Israel to fight on multiple fronts. From Hezbollah in the north to Houthis in Yemen, Iran's goal is to make Israel feel surrounded. It doesn't need to control Gaza. Influence is cheaper than occupation. When Hamas launches attacks, Iran can sit back and watch as Israel drains its defenses and patience. Nuclear energy. Power, promise, and problems. Imagine a single grain of fuel producing enough energy to power an entire city. Sounds unbelievable, right? This is the power of nuclear energy. But with great power comes great responsibility and serious risks. Today, let's explore nuclear energy, how it works, where it is used, its advantages, and its disadvantages. What is nuclear energy? Nuclear energy is the energy released from the nucleus of an atom. It is mainly produced through a process called nuclear fission, where atoms of uranium or plutonium are split. When these atoms split, they release a huge amount of heat energy. This heat is used to boil water, produce steam, rotate turbines, and generate electricity, similar to how coal power plants work, but with a different fuel. Where is nuclear energy used? Electricity generation. Electricity generation is the most widespread and important use of nuclear energy. In nuclear power plants, energy is produced through nuclear fission, where atoms of uranium or plutonium are split in a controlled manner. This process releases a large amount of heat, which is used to convert water into steam. The steam then spins turbines connected to generators, producing electricity. Nuclear power plants are capable of supplying continuous and reliable electricity to millions of homes, industries, hospitals, and entire cities, making them a vital part of a country's energy infrastructure. Medical field. In the medical field, nuclear energy plays a crucial role in diagnosis and treatment. It is widely used in radiotherapy to treat cancer, where controlled radiation helps destroy cancerous cells without harming surrounding healthy tissue. Nuclear techniques are also used in medical imaging, such as PT scans and nuclear medicine tests, which help doctors accurately diagnose diseases and monitor organ function. Additionally, radiation is used to sterilize medical equipment, ensuring that surgical tools and supplies are free from harmful microorganisms, thereby improving patient safety. Industry. In industry, radiation is widely used for quality control and material testing. Non-destructive testing techniques use radiation to detect internal cracks, defects, or flaws in metals, welds, and machinery without damaging them. This ensures safety and reliability in industries such as construction, aerospace, and manufacturing. Radiation is also used to measure thickness and density of materials like paper, plastic, metal sheets, and liquids during production. These measurements help maintain uniform quality and reduce material waste. Additionally, radiation is applied in sterilizing industrial equipment and improving material properties, such as strengthening polymers. Overall, radiation enhances efficiency, accuracy, and safety in industrial processes. Space and research. Nuclear energy plays an important role in space exploration and scientific research. In space missions, it is used as a reliable power source for satellites, space probes, and spacecraft, especially in deep space where solar energy is limited. Nuclear-powered systems provide long-lasting energy, allowing missions to operate for many years. In research, nuclear technology supports scientific experiments, medical research, and the development of advanced technologies. It is also used in studying materials, generating isotopes, and understanding fundamental physical processes. Overall, nuclear energy enables long-term space missions and drives innovation and progress in scientific research. Advantages of nuclear energy. Massive energy production. One of the greatest advantages of nuclear power is its ability to produce massive amounts of energy from a very small quantity of fuel. Nuclear reactions release energy by splitting atoms, which generates far more power than burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, or natural gas. A small amount of nuclear fuel can supply electricity to large cities for long periods, making it highly efficient. This high energy density reduces the need for large fuel storage and frequent transportation, lowering overall resource consumption. As a result, nuclear power plants can operate continuously and reliably, providing stable electricity to meet growing energy demands. This efficiency makes nuclear energy a powerful option for large-scale power generation. Low-carbon emissions. Nuclear power is considered a low-carbon energy source because it produces very little greenhouse gas emissions during electricity generation. Unlike coal, oil, or gas power plants, nuclear reactors do not burn fuel, so they release almost no carbon dioxide into the atmosphere while operating. This helps reduce air pollution and slows down climate change. Although some emissions occur during fuel mining and plant construction, they are significantly lower compared to fossil fuels. Because of this, nuclear energy plays an important role in providing large amounts of electricity while supporting global efforts to cut carbon emissions and protect the environment. Reliable and continuous power. Nuclear power provides a steady and dependable supply of electricity at all times. Unlike renewable sources such as solar and wind, which rely on sunlight and weather conditions, nuclear power plants operate continuously day and night. They are designed to run for long periods without shutdowns, delivering consistent energy output. This makes nuclear power especially important for meeting constant electricity demands and ensuring grid stability. Its ability to generate power without interruption makes it a reliable backbone of modern energy systems. Disadvantages of nuclear energy. Risk of accidents. One major disadvantage of nuclear energy is the risk of accidents. Nuclear accidents like Chernobyl and Fukushima have shown that failures in nuclear power plants can lead to serious long-term environmental and health problems. Radioactive materials released during such accidents can contaminate air, water, and soil, making large areas unsafe for living or farming. Exposure to radiation can cause severe health issues, including cancer, and may affect future generations. Although modern safety systems have improved, the possibility of accidents still raises concerns about the overall safety of nuclear power. Radioactive waste. Radioactive waste is one of the biggest challenges of nuclear energy. The waste produced from nuclear power plants is extremely dangerous and remains radioactive for thousands of years. If not handled properly, it can harm humans, animals, and the environment. Safe storage and disposal require advanced technology, strict safety measures, and secure locations to prevent leaks or contamination. Managing nuclear waste is costly and complicated, and many countries still struggle to find permanent disposal solutions. Because of its long-lasting nature, radioactive waste continues to raise serious concerns about the long-term safety of nuclear power. Security threats. Security threats are a serious concern with nuclear energy. Nuclear materials can be misused for making weapons or used in terrorist activities if they are not properly protected. Unauthorized access, theft, or poor security can lead to dangerous consequences that threaten national and global safety. Because nuclear materials are highly sensitive, strict security systems, monitoring, and international regulations are required to prevent misuse. Ensuring the safe handling, transport, and storage of nuclear materials is essential. These security risks make nuclear energy a subject of concern despite its benefits. Is nuclear energy safe? Modern nuclear plants are designed with multiple safety systems and strict international regulations. When managed responsibly, nuclear energy can be safe, but even small mistakes can lead to major consequences. Conclusion. Nuclear energy is a powerful tool that can light up cities and save lives, but it must be handled with extreme care. It is neither completely good nor completely bad. Its impact depends on how wisely humans use it.